Hello, this time we're going to talk about algebraic expansion. So expansion really just means getting rid of the brackets. So remember, no sign always means multiplication, so we're doing times stuff here. So what we're going to do is start with the easy stuff and multiply what's on the outside of the brackets by everything that's inside of the brackets. So this 5 is going to multiply both the x and the 7. So 5 times x is obviously just 5x, and 5 times 7 is 35. So unless you have like terms, you're generally going to end up with the number of terms that are inside the brackets. So for this one here, we're going to do the same thing, but this time we've got a negative sign, so we need to think about that. So 3 times m is obviously just 3m, but this is 3 times negative 2, which gives us negative 6. All right, this time we've got some more stuff going on. So we're going to multiply with numbers as well. So negative 4 times 3c is going to give us negative 12c, all right? And then again, we're multiplying this, and this is negative 4 times 10. So we end up with negative 40. Now we're going to do the same thing again, but this time this sign is negative. So we're going to end up with something slightly different. So you multiply these two things together. So negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. And then negative 4 times negative 5 brings us back to positive 20, right? Because two negatives cancel each other out. All right, so just because we've got more terms doesn't mean we change our theory. So 5a is still being multiplied to everything inside the brackets. So 5a times 2a is going to be 10a squared. A times a is squared, right? Remember, anything times itself means squared. So then 5a times 3b is going to give us 15ab, and then 5a times c is just going to give us 5ac. Generally speaking, when you've got multiple letters, you just write them in alphabetical order. It doesn't really matter what order the question gave them to you in. In your answer, you should put them in alphabetical order. All right, same thing here, but this time we have some slightly different signs. So 2a times 5m is going to give us 10am. And then 2a times 3x is going to give us 6ax. And then 2a times negative 2y is going to give us negative 4ay. Now there's nothing that matches in any of these, so we can't put anything together, but we'll do an example of that at the end. Okay, so same thing here, but this time we have a squared term on the outside, so that's going to affect what happens here. So we said before that any letter times itself is squared. Well, we're going to add a third one, right? So this is really 3 times x times another x. So we have 3x cubed. And then we have 3x squared times 4y. So you multiply the numbers together, which gives us 12. And then we're adding in the letters. So we have an x squared and a y. Remember, the only time you can put terms together is if all of the letters match, and they have not matched in any of these cases. And then we're going to do something slightly trickier with some fractions. So we're going to do 3x squared times negative 1 on x. Now, if it helps you, if you can't really just do this straight off the top of your head, you can rewrite it a little bit. So if I have 3x squared times negative 1 over x, right? I can think of this as a fraction over 1. Any number by itself is just the same as putting it over 1 anyway, right? And then when we multiply fractions, you just multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom. So 3x squared times negative 1, well, that's going to make the term negative, isn't it? So I have 3x squared on the top, and then 1 times x is just x. Now, this is not a fully simplified fraction, is it? So there's nothing wrong with what I've written here. I'm just not finished yet. So I'm going to have to write another line. So these two terms aren't changing. I can't simplify those. But another way to write this bit here, is 3 times x over x. And see how I can just cancel those ones out, because x divided by x is just 1, so they're going to disappear. So I'm left with 3x. I hope that makes sense. If you're not sure about simplifying algebraic fractions, please let me know and we can go over that separately. All right, so this is the same thing again, but this time I've got a fraction on the outside and on the inside. So we're going to have to basically do this idea with all of these, right? So if I start with this again, you can think of it like this is over 1. So then I multiply straight across the top and the bottom. So negative 4x is going to be, well, actually I'm lying, aren't I? Because this is a negative times a negative. So they're going to cancel out and become positive. So this is going to be 4x, and x times 1 is just x, and we'll simplify all this in a minute. So then we're going to go to this one here, Again, I'm going to think of it as being over 1, so the tops together. So I have negative 4 times 3y. So I'm going to have minus 12y over x. And then what I'm going to do here is same thing, drag that over here. But this time we already have fractions, so that's fine. So I'm just going to multiply top and bottom. So negative 4 times 6 is negative 24, and x times x is x squared. So you can see when you can cancel top and bottom like this, but this is the only fraction where that's possible. These two letters are different and these don't have anything the same either. So it's just this fraction that we're going to simplify. So instead of 4x over x, I'm just going to end up with 4 because these two are going to cancel out. Minus 12y over x minus 24 over x squared. And that would be my solution. Now, at this point, they're not telling you to make your answer into a simple one-term fraction. That'll come much later, so let's not worry about doing that. Let's do one where we're going to get some like terms though. So what if I gave you something like 2x plus 4y minus 3x plus 2y. Okay, let's do something like that. So now I have two sets of things. So I'm going to expand my brackets first, then I'm going to add together my like terms. So let's start with this. So I get 2x, and then this one gives me 8y. And now I'm going to skip across to here. So there's this one, minus 3x, and this one, so negative 3 times 2y minus 6y. So now I have some things that match. So I've got these two that match, and always take the sign in front of. And then I also have these two that match. So think about the sign in front of the terms you're wanting to put together. So then I do 2x minus 3x. Well, that's just negative 1x, right? I don't really need to write the 1 that's implied. 2 minus 3 is just negative 1. And then I have 8 minus 6, which is positive 2. So I have 2y. So then that's my final answer, which looks a lot simpler than the question. But this is really just the same as this with an extra step at the end where you add together like terms. Let's do one more of those where we add together like terms. So I can have 4x and then x plus 3y, and then I'll do plus, let's do 2x, and then we can do x minus 5y. Okay, so same thing. I'm just going to expand my brackets first. So 4x times x is 4x squared. And then 4x times 3y is 12xy. And then this one here, so 2x times x is 2x squared. And 2x times negative 5y is going to give me negative 10xy. So then same thing. Let's have a look at what matches. And then over here we have these two terms that also match. All right, so 4x plus 2x, well, that's just going to give me 6x squared. And then I have 12xy minus 10xy. That's just going to give me 2xy. All right, I hope that makes sense. Please let me know if you've got any questions, and good luck with the work.